Good evening. I was going to do a quick bloom update on some violets. This is one called Key Lime Treat. Um, this one is it looks blue on the camera, but it's actually very very violet colored. It has little pink fantasy specks all over it in the bloom. It's just starting to bloom. This is Cajun Drama Queen, Melinda, and then Lady in Red. That's one called Aztec, Combustible Pigeon. It's a real pretty one. This is called Evelyn. It's an Optimera. It stays a real flat, low crown. It's a super, super dark red back. Just a beautiful, like burgundy color almost. Real pretty one. This is one called Cool Mint. This pretty one's just starting to bloom. Got a real pretty edge on the flower and everything. Is Winter Smiles. And this was one of the worst ones with the when my lights were too bright. And you can see how much everything is opened up now and spread out and holding themselves up better. Looks a lot better. I appreciate all the suggestions. Frosty Cherry coming back in again. This big one back here I skipped is actually this is a baby. This is one called Tiger, and this is that's actually the same age. Those are the same age. You can see the genetics at play here. One of the viewers, I think it's Terry. She's been growing this particular one. I think she said for 25 years. Terry, if you got any tips on this one, boy, I'd love to hear them. It's a beautiful plant. It's wow, it grows so fast. I mean, so fast. Big, fat, thick leaves. Look at the size of leaf difference, age-wise. But I was gonna debud it and let this thing grow outside, get some size to it. But I mean, I've only had it since for 3.5 weeks, and it was a baby. I mean, it was really small, and look at the size of it already. So I'm just letting it do its thing. It's getting big all by itself without any help from me. So it's as big almost as most of the other plants I have, and it's just a baby. So I really like that one. Let me see, Indiana, an Optimera one. This is one called Chagall from Optimera. They do shape themselves real well, I'll have to say. This is another. There's a few Optimeras here. This is Millennia, another real pretty one. Got a real nice bouquet on top. This one just starting to bloom is Bold Party Girl. Got a monstrous bloom on it. I mean, these are 3 inches across. Huge. Big blooms. I mean, look at the size of them compared to those. This beauty is Cornelia. Another real nice one. Shapes real well on its own. I'll skip that one for a second. That is Moss Second Chance. This beautiful one is called Annika. Just gorgeous one. Jamaican Farewell. That is Happy Harold doing its thing back there. Beautiful variegation on it. This really pretty one is sorry about the movements. Dagus. Another really really nice one. Just shapes up real well, and they've all opened up. You can see how much they're opening up now instead of being so packed and flat, and I couldn't get any blooms to pop through them. Light was just way too intense. So much better. I'm much happier with the way things look. So I need to debud or clean up some buds and pinch off some old ones, trim some leaves. Leaves, it never ends. It never ends. Trying to think what I skipped. There's two. This one right here. This is Vampire Kiss. You can see where it says leaf 12-4. And this is another Vampire Kiss right here, just starting to bloom. A really excuse me, really pretty plant. Back in December, 12-4, just like the tag said, the wife and I went to we were at a little local garden center. It wasn't a big box store, but he had a couple of little orchid babies in these little bags hanging on a rack. And above it was some African violets. I remember we looked at the African violets, but I didn't care for anything up there really. They were picked over pretty well, and what we had up there was damaged. So long story short, I bought a little Cattleya baby, got it home, and there's a African violet leaf down the bottom of the bag, and I stuck in some soil. I had zero African violets at that moment, zero, and I got those two plants from it. I went back later on, a couple of months later, we were over there again, and I was talking to the lady in there. She had some other violets I was looking at, and I mentioned I'd gotten one from her, and I didn't tell her that I found a leaf in one of the packages or anything, but I told her I had gotten one from there, and she said it was, she remembered it because she had bought several of them like that. It was called Vampire Kiss. Came from somebody up in, I think she said Illinois or something. So that's all I know. But I looked it up, and it seems to fit it real well. It's a good looking plant. So anyway, lights are shifting off. That's a good call for the night. It's telling me to shut things down. So everybody have a great evening. Just wanted to give you a quick peek at some of the blooms. Enjoy your garden.